according to the study, which analyzed a wide range of Justice Department information for 37 states to come up with its findings. These disparities exist even though data gathered by the Department of Health and Human Services showed 91, 92, and 93, about 5 times as many whites had used cocaine as blacks. Reports said that drug transactions among blacks are often easier for police to target because they more often occur in public than do drug transactions among whites. The disparities are particularly striking in individual states where black men are sent to prison on drug charges at a rate 57 times greater than other white men. In Maryland, for example, blacks make up 27% of the population and 90% of those sent to prison on drug charges, a rate that is 28 times greater than that of whites. In Virginia, meanwhile, blacks are 82% of those sent to prison on drug charges, 20% of the population. Remedies suggested in the Human Rights Watch report include repeal of mandatory sentencing, laws for drug offenses, increasing drug treatment, and eliminating racial profiling as a police tactic. Largely because of the huge disparity in imprisonment for drug offenses, blacks are sent to prison 8.2 times the rate of whites. It doesn't stop. Some outstanding examples in Chicago Tribune, March 10th. Highway robbery. The article explains police here allegedly have found a way, this is in Texas, to strip motorists, many of them black, of their property without ever charging them with a crime. Instead, they offer out-of-towners a grim choice: voluntarily sign over your belongings to the town or face felony charges of money laundering and other serious crimes, including drug trafficking. Another case in Tulia, Texas, 35 people who were convicted of drug charges based on the testimony of an undercover agent later charged with perjury. Texas demanded a justice system that is tough but fair in a statement released by the governor. More than 25.4 million Americans have been arrested on drug charges since 1980, 25.4. About 1/3 of them were black, although African Americans make up about 12% of the population. Now watch this data. In Georgia, the population of blacks 29%, prisons 64%. Arkansas 16% black, prisons 52%. Louisiana 33%, prisons 76%. Mississippi 36%, prisons 75%. Alabama 26%, prisons 65%. Tennessee 16% population, prisons 53%. Kentucky 7%, prisons 36%. South Carolina 30% prison population 69%. North Carolina 22 population, prison 64%. Virginia 20%, prison population 68%. This is a crime against humanity. War on drugs is a war on black and brown, and must be challenged by the highest levels of our government in this war for justice. Several things. One, this is government-sponsored terrorism. This is government-sponsored terrorism. Number two, this has raised the price on black existence. It has raised the price on black existence. Three, it is an attack on the black family. Four, it has destroyed a generation. Five, the least users paid the most price because of race. Those with money and attorneys paid the least price. Those without attorneys remain behind bars today. The father for the jail industrial complex, the Correctional Corporation of America, stock exchange today. Money's been made, even as we talk, this is not back in the day, this is today. We need a presidential commission on review, remedy, and action. A presidential commission. If we can extol virtue upon truth and reconciliation in South Africa and make cases for peace and reconciliation, let it begin at home. We need a presidential commission on review, in light of the data, remedy, and action. Let us take our case to the United Nations. This is a global crisis against humanity. We are 5% of the population and 25% of the jail population. China, 25% of the population, 5% of the prison population. We're engaged in a war in Libya against leadership to destroy its own people. We must have a higher standard. The rationale for the war in Libya is we must stop Gaddafi from waging a war against his own people. And we should. But we should have a higher standard. This is a war by our government against black and brown citizens. Now that we know better, we should empirically do better and act now. The feds must be aggressive in acting to end racial targeting, but must not be a perpetrator of it. Treat and heal the sick. Education of incarceration, $4,000 a year for treatment, $25,000 for incarceration. We must meet with the Attorney General Holder, petition the President for relief, remedy, and action now. And close on this note, Dr. Ron, most fundamental to all of our rights is the right to vote. The New York Times editorial said last week, we're one vote away from a states' rights Supreme Court. That's 1896. It warned that these 34 states attacking the Voting Rights Act, there's a common theme: attack workers' right to organize, the working people's lobby, reapportion people into isolation, attack public education, and fire teachers, use the scheme to undermine the impact of the vote, not to stop the vote, but to shave points. There was a big game the other night between the Mavs and the Heat. If the referee or a player were to shave points, not stop the game, shave points, it would corrupt the whole game. So to shave, now what does point shaving mean in politics? Because this determines how we're going to end this war based on what the political will of the country is. Kennedy beats Nixon by 112,000 votes. Less than one vote per precinct, arguably because the vote in Chicago led by Congressman Dawson, the margin. In '68, Dr. King killed, Robert Kennedy killed. They got young blacks to organize don't vote campaigns, arguing that Nixon's white, Humphrey's white, don't vote for white people, which is very slick language. We lost by 500,000 votes. The margin matters. In '92 and '96, Bush and Dole got more white votes than Clinton. He got more white, black, and brown. He won the margin. In 2000, Gore won the election by virtue of the inspired black vote and taken away by intervention by the Supreme Court. Margins really do matter. So in 34 states, if they use the scheme, number one, seniors must have birth certificate. Remember, them on fixed income don't have a birth certificate to buy one amounts to a poll tax. Students can use student ID, but not for voting. In Texas, they can, however, use gun registration for ID, but not student ID. Or use driving license. 5.5 million blacks do not have a driver's license. And so if you reduce the strength of blacks and browns by the scheme, and seniors and students, that will determine the outcome of the election in 2012 at every level of government. Lastly, my point to you is this, and this remains our civil rights struggle. What is the civil rights? The civil rights is the right to have an even playing field. Why do we do so well in football, basketball, baseball, golf, tennis, and track? It's hard to be the best in the world at being a track star. A lot of people can run. Hard to be the best in the world at basketball, football, baseball. Why are we the best at that? Which is so hard to do. Because whenever the playing field is even and the rules are public and the goals are clear, referee is fair, and the rules are transparent, we can make it. And all we're saying is we fight a drug war. We want one set of rules. In Illinois, Brother Ron, wrote a column for Chicago Sun-Times, 11% of drug users are black. prison 61% black. 61% uses a white, 10% prison to black. All we want is one set of rules. Let's choose healing. Let's engage youth, not encage them, and choose hope and healing over fear and division. Thank you very much.